February 8th, 2017. The fourth raid wing of Guild Wars 2, Bastion of the Penitent released, and it quickly rose to become many players' favorite raid wing, consisting of 4 different bosses, 2 of whom would be relatively important in the future of Guild Wars 2. Over 6 years later, Guild Wars 2's 4th expansion, titled Secrets of the Obscure, released on August 22nd, 2023. And throughout this expansion story, we learned a lot about a new faction of people known as the Wizard's Court and the Astral Ward. Led by Isgarren, a powerful seer, the Wizard's Court and Astral Ward have worked in secrecy to protect Tyria from any threat from the mists which would seek to bring Tyria harm. Unknown to most people in the world, including the famous commander, who would be dragged into their conflict against the Cryptus, an evil faction of demons led by Eparch. These demons wish to feed off of the emotions of all those on Tyria and to bring Tyria and the Wizard's realm of Amnitus to the control of Eparch. On the Cryptus' homeworld of Nios, one great house of demons was seen as loyal combatants for the Midnight King, House Nephis, consisting of 3 powerful demons, Paitha, Ceres, and Deimos. Paitha and Ceres played an important part in the Wizard's Court and Commander's battle against the Cryptus, where Paitha betrayed her brother Ceres and helped defeat him, bringing her knowledge to the side of the Wizards to begin a quest to defeat Eparch and free the planet from his rule. But their brother, Deimos, is a demon that the commander knew much of already. Isgarren and the Wizard's Court are able to protect Tyria from most threats that seek to bring harm to the planet, but they cannot protect the world from everything. Prior to the Cryptus incursions that began to pop up in recent history, Deimos, glaive of House Nephis, was able to sneak his way past the Wizard's wards and reach Tyria using the guilt-ridden body of Sa D'Alessio, where he stayed there, trapped, feasting off of the torment of Sa D'Alessio, until the commander and their squad fought their way through the Bastion of the Penitent and brought an end to the Cryptus Lord. But the Bastion of the Penitent itself is an incredibly unique area, because unbeknownst to Deimos and the commander, the location was originally built by Isgarren and the Wizard's Court, where it eventually became captured by the Mersat and turned it into the penitentiary that the 2 powerful forces knew it as in modern-day Tyria. But this brings forth a variety of questions, where we see the 6 bastions spread throughout Amnitus that house the 6 different magics that the wizards and mages within the Wizard's Court and the Astral Ward utilize to combat the Cryptus and any other threat to Tyria: natural, knowledge, strength, balance, obscure, and celestial, where each magic has a bastion dedicated to it, and it appears that a long time ago there was a 7th magic, Penitent, with an entire bastion dedicated to it, the Bastion of the Penitent. How exactly the wizards utilized this magic, if they did at all, or if this was in fact a part of magic at all, is unknown, where there appears to be a very strong connection between the Bastion of the Penitent and the other bastions in Amnitus, where we know that Isgarren created the Bastion alongside all of the other ones, but it was abandoned by the wizards. It and what it was built for no longer served any purpose to the wizards, and the area itself would be taken over by other forces. This then raises another question: are there more? We see the Bastion of the Penitent and the potential magic of the Penitent to have existed, yet remain unutilized by the wizards. Perhaps there are more that Isgarren learned about, but deemed unworthy or too dangerous to be used by the wizards, or perhaps we shall be able to explore this in the future. And then one final question remains from this: why is the Bastion of the Penitent located deep within the Woodland Cascades? Well, there is a connection between this location as well as the Mersat and the Mersat's homelands, where we know the Mersat occupied the Isles of Janthier and parts of the Woodland Cascades before their people became extinct, where the proximity of the Bastion of the Penitent to their own strongholds definitely made it an ideal location for their schemes. But we learned in the expansion that the Wizard's Tower has the ability to move around Tyria, as it once was floating by Garenhof, and we learned that it once floated above the Isles of Janthier, above the homeland of the Mersat, where perhaps the bastions once floated around the Wizard's Tower above Janthier like they do now above the Horn of Meguma, and the Bastion of the Penitent was in use in this area but was returned to the ground when Isgarren abandoned it. All of these questions are fascinating for me to think about, and throughout my limited time exploring the expansion thus far, I have not seen anything that leads to direct answers to any of these questions. But of course, I may have missed something, as everything is relatively new and I have not found everything yet. And perhaps, as the expansion unfolds and the story of Guild Wars 2 continues, we may learn more about the wizard's 7th magic.